The Echo Effect: Why Mary Quant Still Shapes What You Wear. Most of us don't think twice about what we wear, but every skirt length, every simple silhouette, every outfit designed for movement rather than formality, carries a story. This is the Echo Effect: how ideas from the past still shape our lives today. And today, that echo belongs to a true icon of the 1960s, Mary Quant. Before the cultural shifts of the mid-20th century, fashion followed rules. Women's clothing was formal and restrictive, skirts were long, waistlines were tight, movement was limited. Fashion was less about comfort and more about control. It reflected expectations of gender, class, and behavior. Style came from established fashion houses, far removed from everyday life. What you wore signaled who you were supposed to be. But beneath the surface, a new generation was ready for something different. Mary Quant didn't start by sketching trends. She started by observing people. On the streets of London, she noticed young women moving differently, walking faster, working more, socializing freely. Their lives were changing, but their clothes were not. They needed outfits that could keep pace with busy days, public transport, long hours, and late nights. So she asked a simple question: why shouldn't fashion keep up with real life? Instead of designing for mannequins, she designed for movement, for energy, for independence. This shift, designing from the street upward rather than from elite institutions downward, would quietly reshape the entire industry. The miniskirt became Mary Quant's most visible legacy, not because it was provocative, but because it was practical. Shorter skirts allowed freedom of movement. They felt modern, light, unburdened. But more importantly, they symbolized choice. For the first time, women could decide how they presented themselves, without asking permission from tradition, authority, or convention. Mary Quant herself often resisted the idea that she was liberating women. She insisted women were already liberating themselves. Her role was simply to listen and respond. That humility is part of why her influence spread so naturally. She believed fashion should be accessible, not exclusive, not intimidating, not reserved for a select few. She embraced ready-to-wear designs, affordable pricing, rapidly changing collections inspired by the street rather than the runway. This was revolutionary. For the first time, young people didn't just consume fashion, they shaped it. The distance between designer and wearer collapsed. Modern fashion culture, seasonal drops, casual wear, youth-driven trends, traces directly back to this moment. She helped change the meaning of style itself. Fashion stopped being about approval, it became about expression. Clothes no longer needed permission, they needed purpose. This was a subtle but powerful shift. Instead of dressing to fit into rigid social categories, people began dressing to reflect mood, identity, and lifestyle. Comfort was no longer a compromise. Simplicity was no longer a weakness. These values, once radical, are now foundational, and they shape not just what we wear, but how we think about ourselves. Look closely at what surrounds you: simple dresses, clean lines, clothes designed to move with the body, everyday fashion built for real schedules. These ideas didn't appear overnight. They came from a belief that clothing should adapt to life, not force life to adapt to clothing. Mary Quant's influence lives quietly in wardrobes around the world, often unnoticed but deeply felt. Mary Quant didn't just change what women wore, she helped normalize the idea that women dress for themselves, that confidence and comfort can coexist with style, that playfulness and seriousness are not opposites, that practicality does not diminish beauty. This mindset echoed beyond fashion. It influenced how women occupied public space, how they expressed identity, how they claimed autonomy in everyday choices. These ideas didn't fade when trends changed, they endured. Mary Quant may not always be mentioned alongside the most dramatic names in fashion history, but her impact reshaped daily life. She didn't just change how clothes looked, she changed how they worked. By working directly with manufacturers to create coloured and patterned tights, Quant didn't just shorten the skirt. She fundamentally changed how women's legs functioned in the world. That decision echoes forward, directly, into today's leggings, stretch fabrics, and everyday wear built for motion rather than display. She also understood something ahead of its time, that fashion was never just about garments. Through her Daisy logo, simple, playful, instantly recognizable, Mary Quant became one of the first designers to turn herself into a lifestyle brand. Long before influencer culture or luxury logos, that flower signaled shared values: youth, fun, rebellion, accessibility. It wasn't about status, it was about belonging. Her Ginger Group line brought this philosophy to the high street, branding everything with that same daisy, proving that a logo could represent an attitude, not just a price point. And Quant thought in systems, not pieces. She embraced the idea of a total silhouette, not just a dress, but hair, movement, attitude. Her collaboration with Vidal Sassoon on the 5-point bob created a wash-and-wear haircut that mirrored her clothing philosophy: low maintenance, high energy, ready to go. Fashion became something you lived in, not something you managed. From PVC raincoats to jersey fabrics, from tights to hot pants and haircuts, Mary Quant helped define the birth of the ready-to-go aesthetic. A complete look designed for real life. That is why her influence still surrounds us. Not loudly, not nostalgically, but constantly. Every time clothing prioritizes movement, every time style feels effortless rather than enforced, every time fashion reflects who you are instead of who you're supposed to be, that isn't coincidence. That is Mary Quant. That is her legacy. That is the echo effect, where the present is quietly shaped by the past. If this story echoed with you, please give a like and follow, because some ideas never go out of style.